everyone, and welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Friday, June 2nd, 2023, and this is episode 256. My name's Carol. I'm known as Knits and Pearls on Ravelry, and I live east of Vancouver in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada, where we are enjoying another beautiful sunny day. The weather this week has been perfect. Not too hot, not too cold, not too wet, not too dry, just perfect. I'm back here again in our spare bedroom to take advantage of the morning sun, and has the added bonus of looking out onto our back garden and patio. So if you see me do this every so often, it's because a bird or a butterfly or something has caught my eye. If you came here today for the knitting, you might be a bit disappointed because I don't have a lot to show you this week. Other than knitting about maybe an inch on my plain stockinette socks, I only worked on 2 projects this week, but I did finish one of them, so there is an FO coming up. If you came here for prizes, then you are in the right spot because I'm going to announce a couple of prize winners very shortly. There are a couple of make-alongs taking place in the Ravelry group throughout the year. There is the Another Year of Stash year-long chatter thread, and also the Yarn of the Month Club, which is a monthly make-along. So if you're interested in checking those out, head on over to the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group, read the first post in each of the pertinent threads, and jump on in. Love to see you there. All right, prize winners. So the first one is for the May portion of the Another Year of Stash chatter thread. I drew from posts 664 to 769. Random number generator chose post 675. That is Big D, who is Denise from Missouri in the United States. So congratulations, Denise. And then I also drew for the April participants in the Yarn of the Month Club. These are the people who finished their Yarn of the Month project. There were 10 to draw from, and random number generator chose number 6. Number 6, Alchemy, who is Diane from Minnesota in the United States. So congratulations also to you, Diane. You have both won up to $20 US in patterns that are giftable on Ravelry. So please send me a private message with your pattern choices, and I will get those into your inbox as soon as I can. Thanks to everyone who has been taking part in the make-alongs all year long. I really appreciate your participation, especially because I have been absent a lot lately. So I really appreciate you carrying on without me. All right, finished project. I have a pair of socks. Who could guess? These are the Shadow Box socks by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. I knit them from Impulse of Delight Mirror Sock in the Meltwater colorway. More or less knit them as written. It was a very intuitive, easy to keep track of pattern, and it was just perfect for just the way my life has been lately. It was a great one that I could sit down and just do a few rows, and before I knew it, I had a pair of socks. I finished them last night and blocked them, and so they are still slightly damp, although I did put them out in the sunshine this morning to help them dry. So why don't I bring them in a little bit closer, and you can see the rib and eyelet pattern detail up close, as well as the lovely colors in this yarn. 64 stitch version. Like I said, I followed the pattern, so traditional heel flap and gusset. I did do my own rounded toe. I am not sure how Helen Stewart does her toes. I just always do the same one because I know how it fits my foot. Now I was noticing last night, I'm just looking, this is the first sock. I'm not sure, the light from the window might be blowing it out a bit, but there seems to be more purple in this one than this one, especially when it came to the toes. But you can see they're obviously a matched set, and I do look forward to wearing them when the weather cools off a little. I actually needed a pair of socks the other night to go to ball because it was quite chilly, so I had shoes and socks on. Not drinking anything fancy, just some Irish, Irish breakfast tea. It's actually almost gone. I should have made a fresh cup. All right, second project. I have made some more progress in the Ondas blouse by Valentina Bogdanova. Once again, here's some photos. This is my May Yarn of the Month Club project. I'm disappointed not to be finished by May, or by the end of May, but that's okay. We've got 2 months to finish. I have to keep telling myself that. And it's my make-along, and I can't win prizes anyway. So I'm not sure why it matters. I think it's just for me trying to set goals for my knitting this year in order to sort of keep up with the schedule, whatever you call it. Anyway, I'm using these two yarns. They are from Ching Fibers. This is the Merino Single, and this is the Kid Mohair Silk in the Dew colorway. Hopefully you're getting a good look at those colors here. I think the light's actually quite good for these yarns. I have put about 4 more inches onto, oops, just caught on the needle here, about 4 more inches on to the body. It is now, sorry, looking at something out the window, I told you that was gonna happen. I now have about 7 inches of length in the body. As I've mentioned before, I'm supposed to have about 70 grams of this yarn to knit the pattern as written. I only have 50. And so I do feel like I should have enough to finish the body as written. I've used about 30 grams of my 50-gram skein. Having said that, I think regardless, I think I'm going to put some of the Merino Single yarn on the bottom. Whether I just do a little ribbing, or I thought it might be kind of fun to maybe put a lace repeat. Not entirely sure, but especially because I'm only going to be making this short sleeved, I thought it might help anchor the top and bottom. Also, that will free up some of this to use in the sleeves. So haven't quite decided how that's going to work. Another reason is I've been trying this on. I have a couple of different camisoles. One is green, one is a rosy, kind of a dusty rose. And actually, I think that's the one that looks the best under this. But they are relatively short. In comparison to where I would want this sweater to end on my body. And because it's all sheer, I thought it would look kind of funny for the camisole to end sort of part way down the body, and then you'd be able to see either the pants I'm wearing underneath or skirt or, you know, whatever. And so I think that that will help disguise the fact that the camisoles are a little bit short if I have some of the more solid yarn on the bottom. So yeah, trucking along. It's very fine yarn, so it takes a while to get an inch, but I continue to be really happy with how this is working up. I'm so pleased that the yarn is not pooling in an unattractive way. I like the way the colors are dispersing. And I often, when I knit a sweater, I will often add some waist shaping to it, but I didn't do that in this case, and I'm glad that I didn't. It fits nicely as it is, and I think if I had added any increases or decreases, I would have ended up perhaps changing the way that the yarn knit up and maybe ending up with some unattractive pooling. So yeah, pleased with that. So stay tuned. I'm not making any promises, but I would love to see this done in the next week. I just don't know how feasible that's going to be. Yeah, so that is it for what I've been working on this week. Up and coming, I think it was yesterday, we received the second pattern for the Handmade Sock Society. I'm not sure if I mentioned, did I tell you that these socks were part of the Handmade Sock Society? I have a feeling I forgot to say that. But they are. This is the first pattern that was released. And the second one is called the Feather Vane Socks, V-A-N-E. And I am still, I'll put a picture in here so you can see what they look like. I have kind of given my yarn a once over, just nothing's leaping out at me as to what I'm going to knit them with. But I thought what I might do, since I still have skein number 4 from my own personal sock yarn club in the works, I thought maybe I would open up bag number 5 and see what's inside, and maybe this skein will, be the right skein for that project. I have no clue what's in here. I had laid out 12 skeins at the beginning of the year. My husband Cameron put them into bags, stapled them shut, and marked them 1 through 12. And so let's see what's in here. I know that there are some solid skeins from Sweet Fiber. I put my solid yarns from I put all of my club yarns from the Sweet Fiber Yarns fall sock club from last year and the holiday sock club. And so maybe one of those is in here. Nope, I just glanced down. Oh, but I wonder if this would work. This is, it's a bird-related yarn. This is the Cooper's Hawk colorway. It's from the September of 2022 from the Backyard Birdwatchers Club, 2nd edition. Did I say Fiber Nymph Dye Works? And this, Cooper's Hawk colorway. So there are a couple of minis to go along with it. And this is the Heavenly base. So that is a 80-10-10 superwash merino nylon and cashmere blend. I'm not sure how this pattern would look in a self-striping, but there is the bird connection with being based on feathers and a bird-like colorway. I don't know, that's a possibility. We'll have to see. On the other hand, I had considered knitting this yarn up for my husband. I'm not sure. I don't think it's a too feminine a pattern. I don't know. Anyway, it's a to be determined. These may end up as plain vanilla socks, or they might end up as the new Helen Stewart pattern. I just can't quite picture the pattern in self-striping. I have a feeling I'm probably going to end up going for a solid or tonal instead. But these will become socks sometime in the relatively near future. And I've also not yet decided on my June Yarn of the Month Club yarn. I do have a, there's a beautiful hummingbird right outside my window again. Oh, and there it goes. I have seen a hummingbird a number of times since I last recorded. If you watched last episode, you'll know that I spotted my first hummingbird of the season out just in my garden where I just saw this one. In fact, this is now the fourth time I've seen a hummingbird this morning. I do not know for sure if it's the same bird over and over again or if it's a couple of different. I suspect there might be at least two, because the second time I saw a hummingbird this morning, it was at the feeder upstairs and it wasn't sticking around. It was just quick, quick, quick and gone. Whereas when I saw the first and the third time I saw a hummingbird, they were at the feeder and sitting. And they're very territorial, so it's not unlikely that another hummingbird came in, took a quick drink, and left in between visits from the first hummingbird, who may be, it may be their territory. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't really care. I'm just so happy to see them. The honeysuckle's now in full bloom. Some of my perennials that I have planted to attract hummingbirds are also starting to bloom, and so it is very, very nice to see them around the garden and around the yard again. I was mentioning, yes, I have not decided yet what my June Yarn of the Month Club yarn is going to be. I do have a bag upstairs that's full of possibilities. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being a one skein project, simply because I'm so far behind on other things. Yeah, stay tuned. By next week, I would think I would have chosen and started something maybe. And that is because I am finally getting caught up on a number of things in my life, including yard work. So this past week, Cameron and I, we brought out all the summer patio furniture. I cleaned it off while he was scrubbing the side of the house, and we cleaned the decks, and also put up on our upstairs patio where our back door used to be. We have put up some outdoor wall art to kind of distract from the seams in the siding. So if you are new to this podcast, or to this podcast, to my channel, first of all, welcome. We recently underwent an entire kitchen renovation, and part of that included removing one of the two doors that we had that led out to our back deck, upstairs deck. Why they had put two doors like 4 feet apart, not really sure, but it made sense to take it out and extend our opportunity for cabinets and countertop. But because our house is, I think it's 35 or 36 years old, it was just impossible to find siding that was going to match what we had, and so they stole some siding from beneath a couple of windows in the back of our house, and moved it upstairs. So it is seamed, and you can see, but now that it's been cleaned and now that we have the wall art kind of covering some of that up, it looks way better. And then I also did a bunch of painting this week, including painting the areas where they had stolen the siding from. So they put up some trim, and I painted that, and now it looks much better also. I wasn't crazy about the idea of having sort of this patchwork on our siding, but I have to say that now that it's been painted, I think it actually looks very nice, and I don't mind at all. It was definitely a great trade-off for gaining that extra space in our kitchen. I also painted our shed. So a couple of years ago, we had a shed put up and we had paid to have the first coat of paint put on. And then the guy who built it for us left me with the leftover paint to do the second coat. But then the weather changed, and since then I've never had just the right opportunity to do it. You need some weather that's perfect, just like I was talking about. Not too hot, not too cold, not raining, not just super hot. And so that was this week. All the planets aligned, and so I was also able to put a second coat of paint on the shed. And unfortunately, I had to do it all by hand because it's like, I think you'd call it maybe tongue and groove. I'm not sure if that's the right word or not, but there are lines, vertical lines, panels kind of going along the shed. And it's also kind of a rough wood. And so I was going to have to cut in around the edges and paint all the little grooves by hand anyway. And when I realized just how rough it was, I decided it was easier just to go ahead and paint those spots with a paintbrush rather than try and use a roller. Just looking outside out there, I can see a turkey vulture kind of gliding around in the sky. So yeah, that took me several days to do. We also had our downstairs door, the paint around it was all peeling, and so Cameron sanded that off for me, and I gave that a couple of new coats of paint too. So now our backyard is all set up for the summer. Feels so great. And then I also did some work in the gardens, planted some bedding plants, and also I yesterday got out to the front yard and gave all the shrubs a much needed haircut. So everything, it just looks all nice and tidy. The only thing I still have to do is I have some bedding plants to put in the very front garden in the front yard. But I am waiting for some weeds to die first. There is a weed that first popped up in our yard, I'm gonna say sometime within the last 5 years, and I don't know what it is. One of my sisters and I were talking about it. She said she first noticed it at her place a couple of years ago, but it is voracious. It just takes over, and it grows into these kind of round mats. So it looks like the entire ground is carpeted with it. And then when they've grown to these kind of mats, it's just one little root that you pull out. But right now I have tons of them, and they're all starting, and it already looks like a mat, and they haven't even grown. So I used weed killer. I don't like to do that. I do it as little as possible. I'm all about pulling weeds by hand where it's practical, but in this case, I'm trying so hard to eradicate it. It keeps coming back year after year, and I just have to really stay on top of it. Anyway, it's taking effect, and I'm hoping maybe tomorrow I can kind of dig up the dead weeds and plant the plants there, and then all of my gardening will be done. Now, obviously, there will be maintenance needed throughout the summer. That's just normal, but I just feel so much better about things to look out and see all the planters and the flowers in the garden and all those things. Just really puts a smile on my face. I had one of the reasons I really wanted to do the shed too this year is we had some window boxes put on it, and they were unpainted. And the first year they looked pretty nice because it was all raw wood, kind of that golden brown color. But over the last couple of years, they've started to weather, and so I wanted to paint them gray to match the trim on the shed. And so I needed to get that done before I could put the flowers in the flower box. So flower boxes. So now they have all been planted also. So you will have seen some pictures that I've included throughout, so you'll get a sense of what I've been up to. Another thing that happened, as I mentioned last episode, I was going to get a chance to meet our new great niece, and that happened last Saturday afternoon. My nephew and his wife came over for a couple of hours for a visit, and I got to hold the baby. She's cuddly and she smells amazing, as new babies do. She's 2 months now, and yeah, it was great to catch up with them, and so awesome to hold a little baby again. The last couple of great, my last great niece and great nephew, I didn't get to meet till they were past the baby stage because of COVID. And so, yeah, how nice to have a baby around. Another baby, new baby in the family. Can never have too many. And then also on Tuesday evening, my 3 sisters that live locally and I went out for dinner and a movie. A couple of months ago, we had gone to see 80 for Brady, and at the time there was a trailer for Book Club 2. And we decided that we were going to go see it. So I was the only one who had seen Book Club 1, but I watched it again this weekend, and a couple of my sisters had the chance to watch the first movie also last weekend. The other was away, but we filled her in on the highlights so that she wouldn't be totally clueless going into the movie. And yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's what my brother-in-law would call popcorn for the mind, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it was a fun movie. It has Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen. Also Don Johnson, Craig T. Nelson. Am I forgetting somebody? Oh, Andy Garcia. How could I forget Andy Garcia? Anyway, very, very fun. So that's what I've been up to besides all the garden work. And then my something good for this week is catching up. So not only am I caught up on garden work and paid all the bills and all of that, I've also caught up on all the correspondence for Ravelry and YouTube, answered comments and messages, and have caught up on the make-along threads. I'm not quite there yet. I still have to catch up on the Fiber Nymph Dye Works soy mail thread. I'm a month behind in that. I also have to catch up on taking some finished projects pictures and putting in details for my Ravelry projects. But I'm getting there. I'm well on my way. So I'm feeling very good about that. And I am anticipating a little more leisure time in the coming weeks. Cameron is away again for work this weekend. He left yesterday morning, comes back tomorrow night. And so after I get this episode all edited and uploaded, I'm going to knit or craft or do something for the rest of the day, and I will have all day tomorrow also to do that. And then Sunday we are taking part in a golf tournament that's organized through our curling club, and so we'll be curling with our skip from our team and then another guy that we know. So that'll be fun. And then we have some other things coming up the following weekend, but I'll talk about that then. So yes, just feeling this huge weight lifting off my shoulders. I have felt sort of behind right from, I think, New Year's Day this year. I just seem to constantly be playing catch up. But yeah, I'm almost there. No, I don't expect to ever be fully caught up because that's just, there's always something that needs to be done, but I just feel good to sort of feel like I can breathe again. So that's awesome. All right, that is it for this week. I hope to have more knitting to share with you next week. So I hope you will come back and see me again next episode. I always enjoy hearing from you. So thanks so much for all of your comments. And again, thanks to all of you who are taking part in the make-alongs in the Ravelry group. It's great to see you there. So have yourselves a fabulous week, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye for now.